What is the key to a life well lived? How can we navigate the challenges and complexities of the modern world with grace, wisdom, and resilience? For centuries, people have turned to the ancient philosophy of Stoicism for answers. Stoicism originated in Greece around 300 BCE, founded by Zeno of Citium. The Stoics believed that the path to happiness and fulfillment lies not in external events, but in our own attitudes and actions. They emphasized virtue, reason, and self-discipline as the means to achieve inner peace and flourish as a human being. At its core, Stoicism is a practical philosophy, meant to be applied to daily life. The great Stoic thinkers, such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, wrote extensively on how to live well. They grappled with timeless questions. How should we treat others? How can we cope with adversity? What truly matters in life? Their insights feel as relevant today as they did 2 millennia ago. In a world filled with distractions, temptations, and stresses, Stoicism offers a clear and compelling guide for staying centered, rational, and in control of our lives. But Stoicism isn't just found in dusty ancient texts. Throughout history and even today, we find shining examples of Stoic principles in action. From the late prisoner of war James Stockdale to the great athlete Serena Williams, from the illustrious astronaut Chris Hadfield to the late great Nelson Mandela, we see how embodying Stoic virtues allows people to survive and thrive in the face of immense challenges. So let's dive in and see what Stoicism can teach us about the art of living well. Number 1. The Stoic Art of Living. The Stoic philosophy is not just a set of abstract ideas, but a practical guide for living a good life. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within our control and accepting what is not. As Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control." This principle is especially relevant in today's world, where we often find ourselves worrying about things we cannot change, such as the opinions of others, the state of the economy, or the actions of politicians. By focusing on what we can control, our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions, we can find a sense of inner peace and stability, even in the midst of chaos. One way to put this principle into practice is to take responsibility for our choices and actions. As modern Stoic author Ryan Holiday writes, "Every person has the power to choose how they react to the events of their life. When we blame others or external circumstances for our problems, we give away our power and agency. But when we take ownership of our decisions and their consequences, we become the authors of our own lives." Another key aspect of the Stoic art of living is the practice of self-discipline and moderation. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from living a life of virtue, rather than chasing after fleeting pleasures or material possessions. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor of Rome, wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like that." In other words, we should strive to be our best selves, rather than lowering ourselves to the level of those who have wronged us. This doesn't mean that we should deprive ourselves of all enjoyment, but rather that we should cultivate a sense of contentment and gratitude for what we have. By practicing moderation in our habits and desires, we can avoid the pitfalls of excess and find a sense of balance and harmony in our lives. Stoic philosophy emphasizes living authentically and with integrity. Epictetus captures this principle, stating, "You are the one who knows yourself," which is to say, you know how much you are worth in your own estimation, and therefore at what price you will sell yourself, because people sell themselves at different rates. This underscores the importance of self-awareness in determining our moral value and guiding our actions accordingly. Finally, the Stoics emphasized the importance of cultivating inner calm through reason and logic. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When we are faced with difficult emotions or challenging situations, it can be easy to get swept up in our feelings and react impulsively. But by taking a step back and using our rational minds to analyze the situation, we can often find a way to respond with clarity and wisdom. One way is through the practice of meditation or mindfulness. By taking time each day to sit quietly and observe our thoughts without judgment, we can learn to detach ourselves from our emotions and gain a greater sense of perspective. We can also use techniques like journaling or self-reflection to process our experiences and gain insight into our own minds. The Stoic art of living is about developing a sense of resilience, inner strength, and clarity of purpose. By focusing on what we can control, taking responsibility for our choices, practicing moderation and self-discipline, and cultivating inner calm, we can navigate the challenges of life with grace and wisdom and learn to live a life of meaning, purpose, and joy. As Epictetus put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Number 2. Stoicism in action. While the Stoic philosophy originated in ancient Greece and Rome, its principles and practices continue to be relevant and applicable in the modern world. One powerful example of Stoicism in action is the story of James Stockdale, a former U.S. Navy vice admiral who was held as a prisoner of war in Vietnam for over 7 years. Despite facing unimaginable hardship and torture, Stockdale was able to maintain his sense of hope, dignity, and inner strength throughout his ordeal. He later attributed his resilience to his study of Stoic philosophy, which he said gave him the tools to endure and even find meaning in his suffering. How about the astronaut Chris Hadfield, who has spoken about how Stoic principles helped him to prepare for and navigate the challenges of space travel? Hadfield has emphasized the importance of focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what is not. He has also spoken about the value of negative visualization, or imagining worst-case scenarios in order to prepare for them mentally and emotionally. Athletes like Serena Williams have demonstrated the power of Stoic principles in achieving peak performance and overcoming adversity. Williams has spoken about the importance of focusing on the present moment and not getting caught up in past failures or future anxieties. She has also emphasized the value of hard work, discipline, and perseverance in pursuing one's goals. Stephen Hawking exemplifies the Stoic virtues of curiosity, resilience, and determination in the face of adversity. Despite being diagnosed with a debilitating neurological disease at a young age which left him paralyzed from the neck down, Hawking went on to become one of the most influential and respected scientists of his generation. He spoke about the importance of maintaining a positive attitude and finding meaning and purpose in one's work, even in the face of great challenges. Finally, leaders like Nelson Mandela have embodied the Stoic principles of forgiveness, compassion, and integrity. Despite being imprisoned for 27 years for his opposition to apartheid in South Africa, Mandela emerged from prison with a message of reconciliation and unity. He spoke about the importance of letting go of anger and resentment, and of staying true to one's values and principles, even in the face of great adversity. By reflecting on their stories, we can gain insight into how Stoic principles can be applied to the challenges and opportunities of our own lives. Whether we are facing personal hardship, pursuing ambitious goals, or working to make a positive difference in the world, the wisdom of Stoicism can provide us with a powerful set of tools and practices for living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Number 3. Start small and grow one step at a time. Of course, developing a Stoic outlook and mindset is not always easy, and it requires consistent effort and practice. It means learning to manage our emotions, to focus on what we can control, to maintain perspective in the face of adversity, and to treat others with kindness and respect, even when it is difficult. It means cultivating habits of self-reflection, mindfulness, and self-discipline, and staying true to our values and principles, even when the world around us seems chaotic or uncertain. The wisdom of Stoicism is not about achieving some abstract state of perfection, but about living a life of meaning, virtue, and fulfillment, one day at a time. It is about developing the mental and emotional tools to navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience, and to find joy and purpose in the simple pleasures of everyday existence. So if you find yourself drawn to the wisdom of Stoicism, we encourage you to start small, and to focus on one principle or practice at a time. Perhaps you might start by keeping a daily journal of your thoughts and reflections, or you might choose one of the Stoic virtues, such as courage, justice, temperance, or wisdom, and focus on embodying that virtue in your daily life. Whatever your starting point, remember that the path of Stoicism is a lifelong journey, one that requires patience, perseverance, and a willingness to learn and grow. But with each small step, you will be moving closer to a life of greater meaning, purpose, and fulfillment, a life that is guided by the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, and that is grounded in the enduring values of virtue, resilience, and inner peace.